TPUSA with Charlie Kirk and Megyn Kelly, as Megyn Kelly pretty much goes off on Pam Bondi and demands that she resigns. Let's get into it.
So, Megyn, you're here on a slow news day.
Nothing's going on. Anyone been on X in the past hour?
They're happy. That's why you know they haven't been on social media.
We'll update you.
Why don't you update them, Megyn?
Well, this is the first big scandal, I'd say, of the Trump administration that's on Team Rational. It's not a fake media scandal like the left tries to create for President Trump every other day. It's one of the right's own making, and it's not going well. And it has to do with Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah. Let me just ask you, make some noise if you care about the Jeffrey Epstein scandal.
You should.
Raise your hand if it matters a lot to you. Raise your hand. So every hand of 7,000 people.
Everybody cares.
A lot. I said a lot. Every hand.
Here's what I think is happening. I don't think President Trump is focused on this. He's focused on a lot of other things which are going great, and he needs to be focused on those other things. Jeffrey Epstein's not the most important thing on his agenda by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, he's crushing it on the tariffs, foreign policy, just got nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. If not Trump, then who? Honestly. Barack Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize after 9 months in office. He had done nothing. He gave a nice speech about Muslims and they gave it to him. So President Trump should be getting the Nobel Peace Prize, and there's all sorts of things he's focused on. I just don't think this has captured his attention quite yet. But it needs to, because it's starting to create a real hornet's nest within the administration. And I've got to be honest, I blame Pam Bondi. I'll tell you why, okay? I have nothing, yes, incompetence, yes. I have nothing against Pam Bondi as a human being. I was fine with her nomination and her confirmation, and she's been loyal to the president. And I get that President Trump needs a loyal attorney general. Look what happened with Sessions. The first time he went away, and then the next thing you know, we had the Mueller investigation, and it was a nightmare. But there are a lot of other people who can be loyal and competent in that job. Here, she is the reason that things are unraveling around this story right now that virtually all of the Republican Party cares deeply about. It's also true that Dan Bongino and Kash Patel had questions about Epstein before they took office, okay, before they went into the FBI. But once they joined the FBI, they said nothing. They've kept their mouths shut about Epstein. You have not seen them, except for one joint appearance with Dan and Kash on Fox, running all over the media looking for attention on this, yes, clickbaity story. Who have you seen? Pam Bondi. She has never missed an opportunity to go on television and dangle sweet nothings that might be coming your way. Try to lead you to believe that she's got it. It's on her desk. It's coming tomorrow. You're going to see something on Epstein. And it was a tease. So you either believe that Pam Bondi was telling the truth then, or that she's telling the truth now. But both cannot be true.
I mean, she did basically try to clean it up oh so nicely. She's like, whoa, I wasn't talking about the Epstein client list. I mean, there was a file with the name Epstein client list, but it actually turned out to be a whole lot of nothing. That's really what she was trying to say during that meeting with Trump, or during the cabinet meeting with Trump, is that, well, you guys misheard me, or you guys took what I said too literally. The Epstein list wasn't on my disk at all. It was actually a file saying the Epstein list. I'm like, all right, okay, lie to me again. All right, guys, let's make sure we double tap that screen and like the video, guys. If you have any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements, you can go ahead and send in $2 and up. I'll be happy to read it out loud and engage with it. Appreciate the support, guys. Or if you have a poll that you want to ask, in the chat.
Was either lying when she went on Fox News all those times saying, I've got it, we're looking at it, wait until you see it, it's horrible. Or she's lying in her 2-page memo that they released on a Sunday night at the tail end of a holiday weekend to Axios, as if Axios is where we all go for our news. Hell no. She went to someone she knew would not kick the tires on the story, and without signing the memo, dropped it in the dead of night and said, that's it, take the crumbs and be happy. Refused to come out and give a presser, and give a press conference, stand there for 6 hours to the point where people are dying of boredom. They've asked all their questions. That's how you put a scandal to rest. But she wouldn't even sign her name to it. And I'm telling you, I have dollars to donuts. It's going to come out that there was internal consternation over that memo and whose name did and did not go on it and who it was and was not behind it. And so now you have a situation where her words on the record on Fox News are diametrically opposed to what she put in this memo. She's embarrassed the president. She's embarrassed herself. And Dan and Cash, to the extent they've had to sign off on that, let's understand the FBI is controlled by the DOJ. FBI is subservient to DOJ. She's their boss. That they're in this position where the only comments they've made on the record as administration officials have been, we don't think he killed himself, and we don't think he got murdered. We think he did kill himself. We've looked at the tapes, and Cash to Joe Rogan saying, if I saw all these tapes of Jeffrey Epstein with little girls, trust me, I would show you, but I haven't seen it. Okay, so what they're saying now is consistent with what they've said since they joined the office, and that is one of the many reasons why this scandal is squarely on her. And I'm telling you, I'm of the cable news universe. I've seen it happen a million times. People get thirsty. They love to see themselves on television. They love to see their names in the Klieg lights. They love the attention. They love the little emails and texts and tweets and thumbs up they get after their appearance, and they can feel their star rising. And listen, internally, I'm told there's a bit of like a power struggle between Pam Bondi and another female administration official on who's going to be the top dog. You know, we've got a great bench behind President Trump. We've got JD, we've got Marco, you know, we've got Hegseth. We've got a lot of people who could potentially be next up. But there are some women who've got their eye on that role too. And I've been
maybe
told
one of them
she's
speaking at this event.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
I'm too happy a person.
No, I know. I was talking about someone tomorrow, so that might be speaking at this.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Okay.
but Megan, you make a very astute point, and let me add to it, which is that she also brought in some of our best influencers, people that I care about deeply. Jack Posobiec, who's incredible. Libs of TikTok, Chaya, DC Drano.
Yeah.
And she gave them these binders, and she humiliated them.
Yeah.
And you guys know what I'm talking about? Where she like did this stuff with the binders?
This?
And
Yes.
you guys were upset, but you shouldn't be upset, the influencers. They were handed these binders like there was something incredible in them.
It is what you would do to an enemy. It would have been a brilliant operation had she loathed them and been looking to undermine them. The trick would have been perfect had this been Joe Biden's White House doing this to some of President Trump's most loyal supporters and media advocates. What happened was they invited all of them there to say hi to the vice president, to say hi to the president. Sure, they all went, of course. Who wouldn't go to the White House to say hello to Trump? They didn't expect anything on Epstein. So they went, they said hello, and before they knew it, they were pulled into a room with Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, and she had made the binders. She bragged about making the cover sheet that read Epstein Files, Phase 1. And she handed them out. And what Liz Wheeler, who was there, told me was that she told them, there's not that much in here, but like another trove is coming. I'm gonna get it from the FBI, but like, here's Phase 1. Flash forward.
Which was, I mean, a terrible release because it was redacted all over the place. And let's be real, that Phase 1 Epstein files, well, we knew more. The public opinion knew way more about Epstein than what that Phase 1 file was willing to let on. And here's the thing. It's not like it didn't know anything. It's just that, the redacted parts, the heavily redacted parts would kind of piss a lot of people off because like, whoa, why give us this? If you have pages of just redacted, like the black lines, the famous black lines of secrecy. 14
hours earlier to when she was on with Jesse Waters on Fox News saying, oh, you're going to see some Epstein documents tomorrow. She knew they were bullshit. She knew that there was nothing in there. She told the influencers when she gave it to them, there's really nothing in here. I'm going to try to get you more. And in the meantime, then they funneled them out the back of the White House where all the press corps was. And the influencers are standing there with these binders. They didn't even know they were there for Epstein, and they looked foolish through no fault of their own. The only fault was they trusted her.
And these are some of our best people that we should have their back. Liz Wheeler's amazing, Jack Posobiec.
Yes.
And
she dinged their credibility for no reason.
100%. And did they ever get an apology for that?
No. And the only way of making it up, trust me, as somebody in the media who relies on sources, the only way she could have made up for this enormous error. And truly, to this day, if you believe she knew there was nothing in there, then I don't know why she did it. She just did it to make them look like fools for fun of it. But the only way she could have made up for it was to give them a scoop. That's the only way of fixing it. When you have the scoop, when you do get the second tranche, you've got to leak something to them. You've got to let them break something. She never did, but she continued to tout that she had something. She was going to get that FBI file.
And the worst assumption that Pam Bondi the worst assumption that Pam Bondi kind of did with this whole Epstein file drop was that she assumed that, well, she knew more than us. She assumed that she knew more than the American people about Epstein, when there's been whole types of investigative journalists on this topic, all like from everywhere. Even from around the world, not just American investigative journalists, but investigative journalists around the world have been trying to track this man Epstein down. Like witness testimony. Trust me, we had a lot of evidence, or we had a lot of, I would say, information already. And I don't think Pam Bondi knew that. That's the only reason why she was able to give out this phase 1 BS Epstein files and then think that it was going to satisfy anybody.
Then she got caught by James O'Keefe on hidden camera saying she had tens of thousands of videos of Epstein and little children. It was like, what? Well, we never heard that. We heard he was into the barely legal type, the like 18-year-olds who look 14, but we didn't hear about children. And then because she was caught once again shooting off her mouth inappropriately, attorneys general of the United States normally say nothing. They say nothing.
Merrick Garland had one press conference a year.
Yes, nothing. Bill Barr, you couldn't get him to speak or say anything. Even Eric Holder was less chatty than this. So she got caught on camera, and she decided to cover up the James O'Keefe slip by then running to a real camera and being like, there are tens of thousands of videos of the children, and I'm announcing it all.
Yeah, because James O'Keefe caught Pam Bondi in a diner, pretty much telling some lady, they said it was like a maid, about, the thousands of videos of pretty much, child pornography. Yeah. Like she just said that to somebody in a diner, and then James O'Keefe caught that, sent it to her, and you know what this lady does? Come out next day and says, oh yeah, we got, all that child, pornography. So I'm not even gonna lie, Pam Bondi is already sus from that. Just off that alone, I low-key stopped trusting her. Just off that.
So once again, she didn't give that to the influencers, and then she slides it into this memo.
So I have a dumb question.
Hey, and shout out to my man Kip Lewis. He says, thank you for the content you are putting out. Hey, I appreciate that, guys. Hey, guys, if we can go ahead and get to 100 in super chats, I'll go ahead and I'll pull up that Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens interview. Why not? Because it actually was pretty interesting. I'll give you that. That and Nick Fuentes definitely got at Candace's neck at the end of it.
Maybe it's not dumb. So it's so she had doubled down on the videos. Is that correct, Megan?
Yes. Now she's tripled down.
Epstein was not the perp in every one of those videos.
So because they've been so ambiguous,
no, but
we're
let's
not
just
sure.
think about this. Unless we're led to believe that Epstein himself personally raped all these kids, children, or whatever, then isn't the statute of limitations on child rape like basically infinite? Well, so then why are we not indicting the people that were doing the raping that we have on video? Like, what's that all about?
Yeah.
No, you know this better than I do. So Epstein's dead. He's met his hopefully eternal fire where he deserves in the pit of hell. But if it's true, the Attorney General of the United States said, just remind me, we have thousands of videos.
She said that we've got thousands of videos showing child pornography.
And she doubled down on that. So
tripled.
So you have
to notice how she just said that alone. She never said who was in the videos or anything. Like, and then she pretty much tried to like flip it as, okay, well, let's be real. She kind of covered her ass by saying, oh, like, we don't know if she didn't say Epstein was in them. She didn't say people was in them. She just said child pornography. And child pornography could be like anything from a video to a picture. So we don't, let's be real. Or just, I don't even want to get into that one, to be quite honest with you. But you guys will get where I'm going with this. So pretty much he just had the, whole lot of terabytes, about hella terabytes of just pictures of kids. And that's all y'all pulled from his house. That's it. I don't want to see it, but God damn it, I need somebody to fact check that, because I doubt it. I highly doubt that you put out all those videos and there weren't nobody on there. Just, children, really? Okay.
To infer Jeffrey Epstein was not the only person involved in that.
Well, no, let me tell you what I've gleaned, but since she's been so ambiguous, take it with a grain of salt, okay? She won't have a presser. She won't give an interview. She won't answer any hard questions. All we get is the unsigned paper memo, 2 pages to Axios, who won't ask any questions. So what I think she's saying is that she's found, allegedly, tens of thousands of screen grabs of child pornography. They call it child sexual abuse material now. It's C-SCAN. Okay. And that's what she says they found on his like hard drives, like he was into this form of porn, like off the internet. But separately, they say he had at least 1,000 victims like of his.
No, okay, so but 1,000 victims, unless we are to believe he personally was after every one of those victims, there has to be some other bad guys still alive that are powerful that did something to these children. Why are we not impaneling a special prosecutor to find every single one of these powerful people that went after these kids? Like, what? Why are we putting up with this?
Yeah.
I mean, people are also saying, why is Ghislaine Maxwell in jail? Well, because she actually got charged for human trafficking. Not like, there's the world web of child pedophilia that's, been put on Epstein, or that's the claim or narrative about Epstein. No, she got caught trafficking 5 children to Epstein, which is, 5 counts of trafficking. But the way they're framing it, and the way I've heard my people frame it, is that, well, just because she got charged human trafficking doesn't essentially mean that, oh, well, Epstein was out here trafficking children to billionaires. Ghislaine Maxwell might have just been the groomer, and that's it. And she was just setting it. And Epstein was just a buyer, guys. That's all it was. And that seems to be how they're sweeping it up.
I don't know. And I think you'll find out.
Am I understanding this correctly? Because I don't even remember.
I can't answer that.
I don't even know Pam Bondi said that. I can't even remember all this because it's all over. I got a thing on my desk. I got truckloads of stuff.
Yeah, no, we all have busy lives, and President Trump has a busy life. And I don't think he realizes how much she's humiliated the administration. This is a self-inflicted wound. She caused it. Again, I have nothing against Pam Bondi, but if you want to look for the villain in this story, we have found her. She is the person who's she's either lying now or she was lying then. There's no two ways about it. And if you accept what's in the memo, that they don't have the goods on anybody, there's no one who can be indicted, they didn't find a trove of info on other people, then why was she trying to titillate us over a child sexual abuse case for months? She was on the air repeatedly in February, in March, again in May. It's completely inappropriate. You don't play cutesy with child sexual abuse material.
So Megan, I don't mean to interrupt. I mean, first of all, you're totally right, but the media, you've been around the space of like hyper ambitious women. What is this? Analyze her for us.
Well, I think she wants to make a name for herself. What she really wants to be is a star.
Now, Megyn Kelly had this one girl on there, and she pretty much tried to call Pam Bondi a pick-me. She's a loyalist to Trump, but she don't really know what she's doing. She's not all that impressive, but, Trump keep her around because she's loyal. It is what it is. But now, everybody, even on MAGA, even me, I would like her to resign as well. Let's get somebody else in there.
That's what I think she wants. That's why she runs to the cameras on Fox News. There's no other reason. Look back at the attorneys general. Seriously, do you ever remember knowing an attorney general like this? Or like even having the attorney general's voice in your head? I can barely remember Merrick Garland's weird little nasally voice, but it's in there. But the average person couldn't pick him out of a lineup, because normally attorneys general are somber, serious people who are fairly annoying, but they're schooled in the law. Pam Bondi has one trait, and I think it's why Trump chose her. She's loyal to the president. And I get it, he does need somebody loyal, especially in that position. But he has a wealth of other options.
Well, I think Judge Jeanine is amazing. Do we like Judge Jeanine? Everything I love is Judge Jeanine.
Judge Jeanine would be brilliant. Harmeet Dillon would be brilliant.
So you're calling for Pam Bondi to resign or to go. But can you please tell people the breaking news? According to reports that you have verified, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino will resign if what does not happen?
If she doesn't go.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. That Dan Bongino pretty much stormed out of the office. He said, nah, but y'all got me effed up. I'm taking the day off. Kash Patel pretty much watched him stormed off, and he was like, you know what? I think I might be joining him if you don't resign. And it makes sense, because like I said, that's their boss. That's pretty much the people that they give their information to, and she's supposed to let the people know. If these two are pretty much saying, yo, you effed up and I'm going to leave if you don't go, then that means that Pam Bondi probably wasn't supposed to either say that or release any information. Or she definitely wasn't supposed to say, oh, yeah, he just killed himself. Now, Dan Bongino and the Kash Patel came out there and said, look, if you guys got any information, I'm happy to hear it. But so far, the files we're looking at, it just looks like he killed himself. And then Pam Bondi just rushes off with, not only did he kill himself, but there was no list. He's not connected to no human trafficking. It was all just fabrication. Okay.
So
I only have it on Bongino.
It's all over X though.
No, I know, but let me just tell you what my reporting is. Bongino, it's Bongino or Bondi. He's not
Who
saying.
would you guys prefer, Bongino or Bonnie? Okay, 7,000 to 0.
They want Dan. Of course, Dan. You know why? Because Dan understands MAGA. Dan's part of the MAGA movement. Dan's been an important piece of it and a mouthpiece for like really important ideas, and an advocate and a fierce warrior. He's been in the trenches. I mean, with all due respect to Pam Bondi, she's been in Florida. She represented the president. It's nice, but do you think she really gets MAGA? I don't think so. She wouldn't have behaved this way if she did. And now it's a time for choosing. It's a time for choosing. We're about to lose Dan for sure, and maybe Cash too, if she doesn't go. Now she's got some allies. I mean, I think Susie Wiles is close with her, and Susie Wiles is amazing. And look, there's not that many like powerful women in the administration. Maybe she wants to keep.
Oh, guys, let's not forget to double tap that screen and like the video. Let's get more people in on the conversation by double tapping that screen. Appreciate the support, guys.
Keep her. She's from Florida. Susie Wiles from Florida. Trump lives in Florida. But this has gone well beyond this. Like, this could actually cost Trump in the midterms. We need to make a smart choice right now. We can't lose any of the MAGA base.
And let me just also reiterate this. And by no means did I want our very big student action summit to talk about Epstein, the entire, like, of all the things. I'm not like Epstein obsessed. Some people, their YouTube channel, it's all they talk about. I think that the fact that young people can't afford homes is something we should talk about a lot more than these things endlessly, but this matters a lot. And so from a media standpoint, Megan, you know the media better than anybody else. You've been in the media, you've been outside the media. What's this Sunday night thing? What is that? So you have a July 4th weekend after the big, beautiful bill, and you leak it on a Sunday night?
To Axios.
What is that?
If you want to leak it and you want conservatives to see it, you leak it to the Daily Caller, you leak it to Fox News, you leak it to Daily Wire. You don't leak it to Axios. Our people don't read Axios. If we read Axios, it's under protest just to see what the left is saying. True. So it's like you saw it appear. It was like, this must be bull. There's no way this is real. There's no way.
I mean, shoot, it's the same reason I watch CNN, ABC, and MSNBC, just to see what the left is complaining about today.
I can tell you right now, there's zero chance Dan Bongino's leaking to Axios. Zero. And Cash. So, and yet today, as we came here, there's a piece in Axios that reflects very poorly on Dan, alleging Dan only freaked out once he saw in this memo that people weren't responding well to the missing minute of the tapes of Jeffrey Epstein's cell. Do you guys know this piece of the story? Yeah. And that he went into a meltdown like a little child and then threw a hissy fit. So my point is not to weigh in on the truth or falsity of that. It's false. But it is to point out that's clearly a Bondi leak.
And here's the thing, though. If you actually look at, you look at Jeffrey Epstein's cell and everything. First off, his cell was supposed to be like suicide proof to the point where he couldn't hang himself. Like, that's how suicide proof it was supposed to be. We're supposed to believe that this man pretty much tied himself to a bedpost or the bunker post and then pretty much lifted his knees up so he can hang himself. Like, bro, what?
Very clearly, that's a Bondi leak. So what's clear to me from this, as a member of the media, is Bondi leaked the memo to Axios, and Bondi's doubling down by trying to get Axios to dump on Dan and trying to make him be the fall guy and or Cash be the fall guy. And she will not face the cameras. If she means what she says, fine, come out and defend it. To Dan's credit, he went on Fox a couple of weeks ago, and he got beaten up pretty good for this, and said, I think Epstein killed himself. And the base went nuts. The base doesn't believe that, but he's like, if you got other proof, show it to me.
Well, if
he faced the cameras and did it, she hasn't.
I'm open to it. If that's true, why don't you just tell us the prisoners' names who are on the same cell block as Jeffrey Epstein?
There's a lot.
No, that's BS. I'm sorry. The President of the United States figured out whether we have HIPAA for federal prisoners. Tell us who the other prisoners were if no one had access to it, because all of a sudden, if we find out some of these prisoners had suspicious.
And here's the thing, guys. In a minute, do I believe that somebody can go in there within the time frame of a minute and unalive somebody and get out in time? Of course not. So I don't even believe the minute missing. Honestly, I just don't. Like, this, it don't add up. Well, there's a minute missing, and I mean, like, what? A minute missing when the guy walks in and walks out? Like, there's just no way. Unless, I mean, I can't imagine it, guys. I just can't imagine somebody walking in there like from 1 second to a whole minute, and be able to choke this man out, make it look like he hung himself, and then walked right out. Unless, you know, this is AI, it's an AI video they fed us and it's all BS. Like, that's also possible. But that's like wild speculation right there.
Intel ties. What I'm getting at is at some point we want answers at some point.
Yeah, answer the questions. That's
like,
it.
I don't want to talk about this as long as we have, and like we had this amazing summit and we've spent all these resources and planning.
But Charlie, wait, let me just make a case for talking about it, because it's funny because you look back at the past. Dan and Cash talked about Epstein all the time when they were in my business.
So that's the point. Is that hasn't been a shtick of mine.
Mine either. I've talked about it when it's bubbled up. Right? Same. But I am a lawyer.
I mean, Kirk, let's be real. Charlie, let's be real. You don't like the Epstein stuff because it always leans back into Israel. And that's the main reason why you don't like it, because anything that puts Israel in a bad image, this man just neglects, does not look at it at all. I mean, I wish he would do more fair reporting on geopolitical topics, but hey, it is what it is. It is what it is, guys.
Training, and I can smell BS when it's being shoveled to me. And it's very obvious to me right now that we've got spinners trying to mess with us in Washington on a story that is important. And here's why. Yes, obviously, child sexual abuse matters. And if we have some ring of pedophiles running around.
Guys, you have any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements, or if you have a video you want me to look up, that'll be $5 and up. But if you have any questions, jokes, or disagreements, $2 and up, I'd be happy to read it out loud and engage with it. Appreciate the support, guys.
I mean, outside of Hollywood, we need to know. But here's why it does matter. It's worthy of discussing at a place like this. It's about transparency. One of the main reasons that we voted Trump in was because we wanted real answers on real stories, and we didn't want to be BS'd anymore with a bunch of nonsense from our government that treated us like a bunch of stooges, right? Thank you. And I believe Trump is still loyal to that mission. And maybe the people who are behind that memo are loyal to that mission too, but this ain't it. That would require, especially on a story they know the base has been led down with a trail of breadcrumbs to believe something else for years. This is a story, the only way to end it, if that's your goal, is you stand in front of those cameras and you take every single question your biggest critics have for you.
So let's go.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I had the same idea. I was like, that's a pretty damn good idea. Make them go in front of the press and make them answer all the questions on it. I'm like, Pam, if you want to go ahead and give out this blanket answer, you think everybody's going to go with it. All right, then cool. Stand in front of the press. And as they give you all the circumstantial evidence that they've gathered, why don't you go and refute that? And if you can't, then maybe we need to look over some things. Like, and honestly, if you can't refute it, then you might need to resign because you just told everybody BS. Maybe that's why Dan and Cash are trying to leave.
Through a battle plan. Let's say you're senior advisor to the president. What is the 1, 2, 3 sequencing? Press conference, you would get rid of Bondi. What else to get us back on track towards transparency? I think the DOJ should immediately move to unseal all the Epstein documents in the Southern District of New York.
Yeah. Everything except child sexual assault material.
I think every file should be released to the public the same way as the JFK files. Let the American people decide.
Put them out there, because if there's nothing in there, then we can see there's nothing in there. Now listen, people who are truly conspiratorial, who will just never believe anything other than Jeffrey was murdered and there's a ring of pedophiles, they won't be satisfied, and that's fine. You're entitled to believe that. That's fine. You're entitled to your own beliefs. However, some percentage of skeptics will at least give them credit for opening the files. And we could have a situation where they open the files and Dan and Cash stand there and say, I don't know what was taken out of here before we got here. It's possible that those files are rather disappointing and they're not to blame. I don't know. And it's possible, I just got to say this for the record, it's also possible that Jeffrey Epstein was an absolutely disgusting predator who loved just the barely legal types and did take advantage of them and didn't actually farm a bunch of girls out to a bunch of men. It's possible. And I'll say this on it. I know somebody very close to the case, who I trust implicitly. And that person has told me from the beginning that that's what happened. That Epstein was very into the girls who looked like 13, but he knew he had to hire the ones who were like 17, 18 to come in and give him massages that had the so-called happy ending.
Yep.
And that was.
And guys, let's remember, this all started in 2000. I believe 2019 is when the case in Florida first got brought up against Epstein. And then, that led to a whole lot of things coming out. So here's the thing. A lot of people want to say, well, why didn't Trump hop on Epstein in his first first term? Well, because the case just started and he was damn near on his way out by 2020. like if y'all remember. So Trump didn't even really have time to cover it. But during his administration, his first term, the case did start off. Now, all the details about it came in under Biden, and Biden didn't do anything about it. But he also didn't do anything about Ukraine too much or Hamas. He didn't do anything to stop those two situations. So what made you think he was going to stop the Epstein stuff? It only makes sense.
It's really his thing, and there are over 1,000 of those.
No, I get that, but I think what people want to know is what other powerful people were involved.
Yeah, we've heard all the names who went to Epstein Island, who went to Epstein Islands, who specifically went on the plane, who stayed for more than a night. Like, that's what Alan Dershowitz is saying, and he's so right about this. He was dragged through the mud by that Virginia Giuffre.
And he won his case.
He did not molest Virginia Giuffre. It was a lie, okay? And I've done this in depth, the study of this. His name was suggested to her by somebody who.
But the way he defended himself was definitely off-putting. He says, "Now look. I didn't." What did he say? Look, I didn't get a massage. Like, it wasn't like that. I got a massage, but my underwear was on. You feel me? It was nothing crazy, and that's what he pretty much said. Now he didn't do it. But what he told the people as his cover story did not help out at all.
Thought she'd sell more books if she named a famous guy, and it was suggested to her, how about Alan, who Jeffrey knew because Alan represented him when he got arrested for transportation of a minor in prostitution. And Alan, he did represent Epstein. That's not great. He represented OJ. Isn't that worse? Like, that's what criminal defense attorneys do. I don't judge it. We need them. We need them to kick the tires on the system. So in any event, that's how he knew Jeffrey. They weren't buddies. He wasn't like Bill Clinton palling around with him everywhere. So she got accused, she accused him unfairly, but he is saying now he thinks the entire files should be opened, even if other men like Alan get swept up into like a web of like, you did it, and then let them rehabilitate themselves the way he did. Let them show the evidence of, I actually wasn't even in the country when I got accused.
Like Lex Wessler, bro, let's go ahead and release the files and let's show that he was Epstein's main financer. And let's go ahead and everybody in Ohio razz his ass about him and be like, bro, defend yourself. What was you doing? Go ahead and giving mansions to Epstein. What were you doing putting them on the board of Victoria's Secret around women? Like, what's up, dog? So yeah, Leon Black, pull him to the side. Why'd you give money to Elon for doing your job? Millions of dollars. Like, let's sit these people down and have a nice conversation. Okay, maybe a bit aggressive, but hey, we need answers.
At a different place. I was at work. I'm on camera at the Starbucks, whatever. But why not? Given the amount of like smoke around this fire, why not just open the files?
Do you think there's any intel community involvement in this?
I wouldn't be surprised one bit. I am convinced, based on my own sources and my own reporting on this story, he wasn't one of ours.
So he was an American, which leads basically three options: MI6, Saudi, or Mossad.
Yep.
Which one would you choose?
Mossad.
I guess Mossad, given his connection to Ghislaine Maxwell.
So what does that mean?
Well, I mean, it's possible that that's the reason everything's getting buried, that there is some treasure trove.
And let's be real, Mossad already got some bad publicity from the JFK files, what's going on in Gaza. Then when the JFK files found out that Israel had some involvement in JFK's assassination. So for the Epstein files to come out, we find out that he's a Mossad agent. That would just make Israel look even worse. And they're already losing the publicity battle. I mean, it's not like, it really doesn't matter if they're losing the public battle because, well, we're still going to support them and the people are still going to still say that the Palestinians deserve to be exterminated. So it really don't matter. But hey, it is what it is, right, guys?
And it's getting buried because...
How many people here believe that? Raise your hand. Okay, I'd say about half the hands think that it's being buried because of an Israeli thing.
It could be. I really don't know.
I have no evidence to suggest that.
No, me neither. I did think it was very odd how, look, half of you raised your hands because you've heard that theory. You've heard it debated. You have questions. But the one time Pam Bondi was asked a question about this at the cabinet meeting on Monday, she was like, and as for whether he was an agent, that I don't know. I haven't looked into that. I'll get back to you. You haven't looked into it? What do you mean? So that was kind of a fishy answer.
And Megan, remember Alexander Acosta in 2007.
And shout out doesn't matter. He says, this is all about gumming up the works and implicating everyone in positions of power as a pedo. What if the unredacted Epstein files get leaked and the truth comes out? What's Israel's next move? Then they'll probably be denying it. If they don't deny it, they'll probably say you're anti-Semitic for bringing it up. I mean, they always got that anti-Semitic claim. The ever-evolving definition of anti-Semitism is about. So they could always hit you with that. And let's be real, if there is, because we already got there's a lot of things that Mossad gotten away with that we still don't hold them accountable till this day. Like the whole reason why they got a secret nuclear program is because they stole a bomb from us in New Mexico, Pennsylvania. Like the government of Israel, the Mossad, has gotten away with a lot of covert operations in America. So what will be our next move? I honestly don't know under the Trump administrations, because there's a lot of people who do back Israel. Now, am I saying that Trump is not for America? Of course not. But I am saying that he is mighty cool with Israel.
He said he was told to treat Epstein carefully because he was an intel asset. That was one of Trump's cabinet secretaries.
Oh, and shout out, doesn't matter. Appreciate the support.
Who was literally a U.S. attorney 3 hours from here in Florida. He said that himself.
Well, and let me tell you the consequences of that. His subpoena, his search warrant on Jeffrey Epstein's residence was very narrow. It was not the kind of like, let's get everything. Let's see everything inside this guy's, dressers and so on. It was very, very narrowly tailored. And to this day, that's what the FBI is stuck with. So it really is possible that Dan and Cash got in there and, in like a Geraldo and Al Capone's vault situation, opened it up and we're like, oh my gosh, there's nothing in here. Like, we did not find the magic documents or photos or evidence of anything. And why not? I don't know we'll ever know why not. I'm not sure we'll ever know, but I guess I care less about that than I do about just open the books and be fully transparent.
Again, I don't want to feed into any of the, let's just say, speculative theories. But Alexander Acosta himself talked about intel asset.
Yep.
And you have to wonder that.
Yeah, Alexander Acosta, which was, I believe, the Attorney General of Florida at the time, pretty much was told that, back off Epstein, he's intelligence. And they did. Now, did they say what intelligence agency? Of course not. Of course, I'm not going to tell you that. But they did confirm that, we can't really mess with him like your average pedo because he's part of this, intelligence operation. What was the intelligence operation for? And why the hell are we supporting a pedophile doing it? Like, what could be so important? Oh, well, yeah, the blackmail of our most powerful officials and our most powerful moneymakers or members and or really financiers on Wall Street. Yeah, that could be a reason why people are so, I guess, protective of this Epstein guy.
The timing of all this, Sunday night. So you have the big, beautiful bill. You have Independence Day weekend. Why are you doing this on a Sunday night? Was it?
Bury it.
But you don't bury things on Sunday night.
You do on a holiday weekend. You do. Like, people are away. They're traveling back from the beach on Sunday night. They're dealing with traffic. They knew they were too smart to think that they could get away with doing it on a Saturday night or on a Friday night. So they wanted the cover of like, we're doing it on like the night before a real news day. But Monday after July 4th is not a real news day. Everybody's still in transition.
So left unaddressed, I know this is a hypothetical, which I hate those questions. What if we just try to proceed, what does that mean?
If we just what?
Just try to proceed. No, don't address this. If the administration just try.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie though. I was still suffering from patriotism overload. Like, come on now. I was too happy to be an American. Then they throw out this BS, and now I'm just doubting the whole DOJ and FBI. I'm not doubting Trump. I'll be real with you. Trump is doing perfect. He's doing perfect when it comes to the homeland. I do have his criticism when it comes to geopolitical stuff, but I'm not blaming this whole Epstein file stuff on Trump. I'm blaming it on the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the DOJ, the Department of Justice. I'm blaming it on those two departments. Just being fair about it, because like I said, to blame it all on Trump. Remember, Trump hired these people to take care of this stuff. He's not like he has some hands-on. He has some hands-on ability, but let's be real. The man's like trying to work out 90 trade deals, writing letters to countries. You think he has time to worry about the Epstein files as well? I doubt it.
Tries to power through.
Her days are numbered.
Damn.
She can't.
If we just try to proceed, what does that mean?
If we just what?
Just try to proceed. No, don't address this. If the administration just tries to power through.
Her days are numbered. She can't recover from this. She's shot herself in the foot on her own credibility. I just don't think she's going to recover. And I'm sorry to be ungenerous, but I just don't think Pam Bondi is skilled enough to avoid making another mistake very soon. And so that'll probably be the one that gets her. Because President Trump, I understand fully, he doesn't want to offer a scalp in response to this. And I get it. He doesn't want to, and I understand why. Even though it's his own people, he doesn't want to look like he's sold out his people. And he's loyal too. He really is. He's very loyal to the people who are loyal to him, to his credit.
Passed her off.
But I think he's also extremely smart. And he can read a room better than anybody. And I think once he realizes, thanks to an event like this, et cetera, that this does matter with the base, this is not a nothing burger for them, for all the reasons we've discussed, I think he'll decide she's a goner. It's just a question of what the excuse is, more time with her family, or, right? And she'll be sayonara.
And so from a PR standpoint, so you would do an open press conference, take every possible question.
If I were,
I will be right there with some of you libs on, oh, Trump made the DOJ hide the files, but let's be real. The DOJ and the FBI had their hands on the file throughout the entire Biden administration. The entire Biden administration, they had their hands on this file. So like I said, I can't sit there and blame Trump when I really, like I said, I can only blame the FBI and the DOJ. They've had their hands on this file for years. Before Trump would even step back in office, they had their hands on this file. So how can we sit there and just say, oh, Trump told him to hide it? Then we'd have to say the same thing about Biden then, because he had it for 4 years and ain't saying nothing.
Trump, I would say all three of you are going out and holding a presser. Everybody's welcome, all comers. And you're not leaving until, like, we're down to the Jim Acostas of the world. Like, you will stay until those kinds of people have gotten to ask questions. Because let me tell you something, another thing that's irritating about the whole way they've handled it is they're embarrassing other good people. Like, did you see Caroline Levitt out there trying to answer questions on this?
And I think Caroline's great. Don't we like Caroline?
She's the best. Same.
She has nothing to do with this.
Nothing to do with it. I love her, and she has. And
shout out to my man, Does It Matter, coming in again. He says, does Trump now realize that the swamp is actually too deep to be drained with the truth? And is this the reason why Matt Gaetz was forced to withdraw as Attorney General? Now, what I've heard about Matt Gaetz is, ironically, that it was actually a Mossad sting, was a Mossad honeypot operation done on Matt Gaetz. They were trying to extort him for $20 million. And for some reason, the man stepped down. Now, I'm gonna be real with you. This did kind of put like my alert on Matt Gaetz. Like, I mean, bro, if it's not true, then why'd you step down? I mean, they were trying to do the same thing to Hegseth. Like, you remember all the salacious stuff they were saying about Hegseth? He didn't step down, but all this stuff came out about Matt Gaetz, and he stepped down. Now, I do like Matt Gaetz. I love when he does his newscasting. It's great. I like him. And he was the perfect man for the job. But when all this stuff came to him, he did bow down instead of trying to take the fight. So that's the only thing that kind of like irks me about Matt Gaetz, even though I wish he was the one here right now. If Matt Gaetz was here, bro, this would not be it. If Matt Gaetz was the Attorney General, this would not be it right now. And if it was, I would be 20 times more upset. I would, because Matt Gaetz actually talks about that stuff in depth.
Total credibility. And I watched her try to like spin that memo, which is her job, and I felt nothing but empathy for her. And
I agree.
And I also felt like, how dare you put her in this position? This is your stink over at the DOJ. Why don't you get your own spokesperson out there to deal with it? But don't make poor Caroline sacrifice the president's credibility and hers on this dog.
Oh, no, and that's like I said, Matt Gaetz, it was not proved that he did any of that. So, like I said, he got away with it, but they were trying to bring it up again, and it became this whole, well, let's be real. It took media attention for like a week, this whole Matt Gaetz scare. And like I said, really one of the main reasons I wanted Matt Gaetz, because all the Dems were freaking out once Trump said, I want Matt Gaetz as AG, and the Dems were just crying their ass off. But shout out Michelle Glass. Appreciate the support, sis. She says, evening set. Evening, everyone. Hey, and shout out to the support, guys. Appreciate it. All right, guys, let's remember to double tap that screen and like the video.
Turd of a story. So they do need to wrap it up. It should be wrapped up. In a perfect world, Trump will say, all three of you get out there, have an open presser. Anybody can answer questions, and just answer them all honestly. Short of that, like, we could get to, today's Friday, we could get to Monday with Dan gone, possibly Cash gone. Again, my reporting says Cash is staying. Others says he'll go if Bongino goes. I think one of them knows we have a country to run, and we really do need one of them there.
No, I think we need both. I mean, I'd hate to lose them both.
I do too.
And let's play this out.
Yeah, but even Dan Bongino, from what Dan Bongino's been saying during his interviews, he's like, bro, we're being pulled in different directions. Like, we're at the top of the FBI, but we don't know. But they're like, bro, but we don't know what's really going on here. Like, we're getting shown files like that's been locked up in an FBI locker. People are pulling us here and there. And here's the thing, that would scare me too. I'm like, I'm not sure if you're pulling me to show me something or you're pulling me away to distract me. So I'm pretty sure they're thinking the same way too. Because if you actually like, he's seen Dan Bongino's interview about how it is at the FBI, he's like, yo, we're being pulled in every direction, being shown all types of stuff. It's like it's hard to focus on something. So I will give them this. I'll cut them slack on that.
For a second though, let's say Bongino leaves. Well, he's not going to keep its mouth shut. So
No, he's got one of these too.
He's got a big one of these. And he will come out immediately and he will tell his side of the story, which will not help the integrity of the administration.
No.
Right? So if you let Bongino walk, you will have somebody for years that will be bitter towards the administration. And all of us
He's not going to want to hurt Trump.
No, but he'll tell the truth and we will lose. We will be like, if Bongino can't go and fight and solve this thing, then like, I mean, what are we doing here?
I know.
Right?
Yeah, that will be a morale killer. So it would be a morale killer for a guy like Dan Bongino. Like, bro, has one of the biggest podcasters on Rumble to just turn away and be like, yo, I can't even trust this administration like that. It would be a morale killer, I will admit. Like, not for me too much, but I can see where MAGA's like, yeah, I can't even trust the administration no more. Like, one of the main guys who's literally from the outside try to come in outside the establishment, try to come in and fix something, and he's willing to quit now. He's like, nah, F it. There is no fixing it. If he quits, that means Dan Bongino is pretty much telling us, guys, I went in there and there is no fixing it. And I don't think we want to hear that, to be quite honest. Well, at least I don't.
If Dan Bongino, who's like one of the greatest patriots we have, cannot go and reform the FBI with Kash Patel after we win a popular vote majority,
right?
Then I will never give up. But I know for millions of people, that will be met with just a sigh of cynicism.
But think about it,
you know
Charlie.
what I mean?
Yes, 100%. You think about, like you mentioned, Jeanine Pirro would take no prisoners. She's totally confirmable too. She'd be great in this role. Like, it's not like there's no bench behind Pam Bondi. Like, there is a bench. Jeanine could do it. Harmeet could do it. Even Matt Gaetz can't do it. I mean, he could do it, but
he's not confirmable.
Yeah, he's not confirmable.
Matt Gaetz for a special prosecutor, that would be very.
Yeah, that's the problem. Matt Gaetz is not confirmable, bro. Bro, if you ever watch Matt Gaetz and do his show on X, I believe I've only seen his show on X, but if you watch that man's little show he got or his newscasting, this man goes there. He gets into Israel. He gets into the geopolitical topics that, you know what, Fox News don't cover, CNN don't cover, and he's pretty like outright just, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, he's a truth teller. He's a truth teller. I'll give Matt Gaetz that. But yeah, he's not confirmable because all the stuff he said on his show, they're gonna quote him each and every time.
Now that would be fun to watch.
Matt Gaetz with a government corruption special prosecutor.
Anyway, there are other people who could take over that role. And just think about it, because I can see the untenability of Dan and Kash staying effectively working for Pam, right? Like, they're working for her and she seems feckless.
And shout out to Michelle Glass. Appreciate it, sis. He's like, they know at least Bongino has a heart, but the job hits you. What if Epstein is alive? People will fall and could start a major war. I mean, yeah, here's the thing. I remember that was the main concern they had about the Epstein list. Like, oh, well, if they release it and it has all these big bankers and politicians, then what's gonna happen, guys? Like, let's say this worst case scenario, they drop the Epstein list. Now we're missing like hella CEOs. Like, the stock market is going down because, let's be real, a lot of these companies are bought, or a lot of these shares do get bought off the good faith of who's leading these not countries, but companies. Yes, a lot of stocks are bought off good faith because of the leadership. If some of these leaders are gone, what do you think is going to happen? And God forbid that, I mean, let's say that a majority of a certain party is on the Epstein list, right? Like, or let's say a majority of Congress or the Senate's on the Epstein list. What the hell we going to do with those senators and congressmen? Like, it's tough, but I understand that we got to do it, but I can see where somebody be like, all right, guys, like, maybe we can do this one by one, but we can't just release it all at once without like damn near toppling the system.
Except she seems somewhat petty and personal, given the leaks I'm reading. And she seems way too focused on being a star. It reminds me of Brian Williams of NBC. Remember how it was like, it turned out he was more interested in seeing his mug on television and telling fake stories about what a badass he allegedly was and like Abbottabad, you know, with SEAL Team 6 practically raiding the compound, than he was in being taken seriously and being a credible news anchor. And I'm sorry to say, I think she suffers from that same disease.
Damn.
And so she has to go.
Two final thoughts. Number one, everybody, just so you know, all going late tonight and all tomorrow, we are doing exclusive interviews for the Charlie Kirk Show right near Ballroom C for members only. So if you guys want to see interviews, we're going to be interviewing all the major names. We just had a conversation with Pete Hegseth and Tucker Carlson. We have big ones tomorrow, so it's at Ballroom C. They'll be happening all day. Just look at your agenda. That's right on there if you guys want to attend. Megan, last question.
All right.
So there's 7,000 people here, most of which are students. What advice do you have for them fighting on campus, trying to figure out what they want to do with their life? Let's do a non-Epstein end to all of this.
Awesome. Be who you are. Don't pretend you're a lefty in order to win any professor's good humor. He's not worth it. Get your D on your paper because you refuse to argue that capitalism is bad, and wear it like a badge.
Man, sis, I was doing that since the 10th grade, sis. I was doing that since the 10th grade.
Of honor. Bring it with you in.
But then again, though, it wasn't that like prevalent. Like, I'll be real with you, there were teachers that I had that they obviously had a political bias. And if you wrote anything outside of what they were saying, I mean, dog, you get ready for a solid ass C. They ain't gonna do you too dirty because you're gonna complain to the dean or to the dean's office, but you will get a solid ass C for going outside their theory or political ideology. And it wasn't that. I've only experienced like one time in college, and I experienced way more in high school than college, to be quite honest with you. But it's there, it's out there. And I would say, people, yo, if people are trying to lead your ideology or lead you to think a certain way, I would fight it. I would definitely fight it and then be damn near rebellious about it. Now, I'm not saying you should just start being violent towards people, but speak out against it. Have a different opinion. Challenge it.
To your job interview. And that will make sure you align with an employer who's right for you, right? Don't say that you support Planned Parenthood the way they want you to. Don't call yourself a feminist because your teacher will give you pats on the head. Stand up for what you really believe in. And that's how we spread the good word. That's how we convert others over to where we stand, rather than just get ahead pretending we're with them, and then only once we have power tell our true feelings. It's not worth it. If anybody who came to me with a crappy GPA from one of these elite universities and then showed me all their papers that spoke up for conservatism and America and God, faith, I would hire them in an instant over somebody who emerged with a perfect GPA, who went along to get along. That's not a leader. That's a sheep. Don't be like that. Stand up for your beliefs now when it matters.
And I am saying that is quite a few college grads. I'm not gonna say all of them, because I ain't gonna lie, these college universities, these universities have turned into liberal indoctrination camps, leftist indoctrination camps that feed these kids an ideology. I mean, yeah, they'll give them their education, but they'll also make them a leftist at the same damn time. So now they're an educated leftist, which, at least the education parts, at least the educated part is good. I ain't mad at that.
Have a seizure. It's like free. Anyway, thank you so much for having me.
My boy Tucker.
This is more people in one place than I've seen since the last Charlie Kirk event I was at. So it's hilarious. So I noticed everyone's been talking about Epstein tonight, and I want to kind of differ from the crowd a little bit in saying that I watched Ben Shapiro yesterday, and no, before you boo me, I thought he made a really solid point. He's like, it happened a long time ago. Who cares? And by the way, we should trust the government and whatever the bureaucrats tell us. And by the way, it's wrong to ask a lot of unauthorized questions. So I just want to go on the record to say that, I think that's absurd.
Now, I never really liked Ben Shapiro because, one, he started out as a never Trumper, and now he's all over Trump now, all over the man. Well, maybe because he's seen that was really the only options that the Republicans really had, because, I guess the Republican voting base